Well, thank you very much for that amazing session. Going now to our Meet the Game Changers session, where we welcome as our moderator Orly Glick, partner at Vintage Investment Partners, and we invite along Tamir, CEO of Williot, and Michal Gabay, co-founder and CEO of Trigo.
Welcome to a supermarket powered by Trigo. Our technology is designed to retrofit existing stores, enabling frictionless grocery shopping. We empower off-the-shelf cameras and sensors with cutting-edge AI and machine learning algorithms, making our solution both scalable and affordable. Upon entering, shoppers begin by scanning a QR code. At that point, Trigo's system links each shopper to an anonymous ID number and tracks shoppers and their product choices. Our system is designed to protect the shopper's privacy and is compliant with privacy regulations. This store is over 3,000 square feet and has more than 2,000 SKUs. Loose produce items are recognized by integrating smart scales with computer vision. Our unique 3D mapping capability enables our solution to support highly dense stores and is not limited by the number of shoppers. Trigo's programmed to identify and capture small items, even if they're obscured from the camera's point of view. If shoppers change their minds, they can simply return any item at any time to any location throughout the store, and their shopping lists will be updated accordingly. Once shoppers complete their shopping, they just walk out. Their account is charged automatically, and a receipt is sent to the mobile app.
Of the Game Changers. We have here with me two amazing founders of two game-changing companies in the retail space. Tal, CEO of Williot. Hi, Tal. And Michael, the CEO of Trigo. Hi, Michael.
Hello.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today. Maybe, Tal, let's start with you. Can you please tell us a little bit about Williot? What does Williot do? A little bit about your value proposition.
Sure, thanks, Orly. So Williot is about the thing itself in general and in retail specifically. What we design, if you can look at my camera, you can see just a small tag. It's a piece of paper. And this small thing that can come in reels, as you can see here, each one of these stickers is actually a dual core processor. It can sense temperature, it knows when you move it, it can detect humidity, it transmits compliant Bluetooth signal, it can receive, you can communicate with it, and it's all done in a form factor of a paper label, no battery, no components other than the one that we design. For us, the focus is on the thing itself, the product itself in retail, in supply chain, at your home. We enable kind of self-awareness to that product. So how does it work? Just in 10 seconds. We don't have a battery, so how can it work? We basically scavenge energy from around us. Right now, around us, there are Wi-Fi signals, cellular signals, Bluetooth signals, all unused, just sitting around us. We use that as an energy source. So we designed a component that is able to use that very, very low radiation into a form of energy. We also designed the chip itself that feeds off very, very, very low energy and power. And that chip is able to sense. We use the fact that the label itself is very, very sensitive to the environment. Anything that changes around this sticker impacts so the behavior of that label. So we use that to sense temperature, humidity. We can detect if you're in proximity to furniture, if a specific box has been opened, and more and more. Now, if you focus on the thing, that gives you the ability to kind of provide self-awareness on the life cycle of the product. So in terms of use cases on how our label can be used, if you put it on a box, if you put it on a product, you can do the normal track and trace in supply chain, but you can add sensing. So you can add all kind of analytics to it. If it's food and you want to assess shelf life, we can detect the basic essentials like temperature, humidity, so you can detect shelf life. Obviously in retail, it becomes an interactive use case, because if a product has a label on it that knows when you move it, when you pick it up, when you take it to the fitting room, when you take it out of the store, you can use that for an interactive use case in retail. But also if you buy it and you take it home with you, there's no infrastructure needed. So it's just your product and your phone. You can receive information from medicine, from pill bottles, from food, quality. You can understand usage behaviors. You can get reminders and so on. Just to wrap up on the value proposition specifically for retail, I will not hang long here. Basically, theft prevention, the ability to pair a product with a person, so that can help you with theft prevention in store. The ability, obviously, to optimize supply chain and authenticate products as you go. Inventory, which is the holy grail, right? Understanding consistent and accurate inventory. If you have a tag on each product and each product becomes unique, you can do that. And obviously the engagement. If you pick products up, if you try them on, you can get real-time information on the things that you actually picked up. So our focus is not on the surrounding of the products, but actually tagging the products themselves.
Super interesting. And right before we go to Trigo, I think we're thinking about the game-changing part. I think that there are two things that are game-changing. One is basically the sensor itself. You have a sensor that doesn't need a battery, and it's so small, like a stamp. Basically, you can put it on a letter, and then you can track it. But the other thing I think that should be top of mind is the product journey. So while today, the product comes out of production, only some people see that, and post-purchase, only the customer sees that. What you're trying to achieve, if I understand correctly, is to connect the full product journey. So basically, you can see your product, if you're a manufacturer, from the moment that it came out of production through to supply chain, shipping, the logistics to the store, in the store as in-store experience, then the consumer engagement in the store, but also post-purchase.
Yes.
Is that the game-changing part?
Yeah, let me add two things. The enabler part here is the fact that you don't need an infrastructure. So obviously we did not invent Bluetooth, we did not invent sensing, but we wrap it into something that is a disposable label that once you put it on a product anywhere across the life cycle, you don't need to carry with you an infrastructure to actually communicate with it. So it's always a phone or it's always an access point that can communicate with it. And that exactly gives you that benefit of one label mechanism, one technology that can start in manufacturing day one and end at end of life. When you're trying to recycle the product, we can even help there. That is the enabler.
Super interesting. So I have more questions for you, but I'd like to hear a little bit from Michael. Michael, hi. Can you tell us a little bit about Trigo? What do you guys do?
Sure. So Trigo, I would say, is a revolutionary company. The first product is the ability to walk in, for the shopper to walk in the supermarket and walk out without any need to do anything. The shopper don't need to scan anything. The retailer don't need to do anything. We track everything from the filling of the store, and then we see and attend everything that happens in the store. So the idea that based on that, we developed a platform, a retail operating system, and above the operating system, we're going to provide the retailers many other applications as well, operating applications, marketing applications, analytics application, and much more. I will share a few slides about us. So a bit more about Trigo. So we already working among our retailers, 4 of the 10 largest grocery retailers in the world, that we are going to open for them stores during 2021 to the public. We are the only company in the world that converts supermarkets from traditional supermarkets into autonomous supermarkets. And we are one of the best AI and computer vision teams in the world, hopefully. We, until today, issued 22 patents, and we're going to issue in the next few months another batch of 30 patents. So the idea, they said, is the ability and the capability is to track, this is the basic layer, to track everything that happens in the store. Above that, we develop the platform, the retail operating system. And above that, all of the different applications. Right now, the first product that we are going to deliver to the market is what we call the easy out, the ability to walk in and walk out, but planogram compliance, inventory control, analytics, marketing, and many other applications are going to be developed based on the platform with a simple API, and also third-party companies can develop their application based on the platform that we developed. This is a short list of all the benefits that the data is going to that we are going to provide the market. The idea is to do the same and to have the same analytics that today e-commerce websites have, to do the same thing in the physical world. So of course, the no liability and the product availability and compliance on the shelf, shopper journey, and the profile, engagement and retention to the product awareness, and many other analytics and things that we can deliver to the market. This is only a short list. Okay.
Well, so on the game-changing part, when I saw Trigo working, I thought that every grocery store should basically have that. What do you think? And I've gone through the experience myself abroad. It was phenomenal. Do you see all future retail stores that are going to eventually have something like a Trigo technology or Trigo-like technology? How do consumers react to it? How do the grocery chain that you work with react to it?
Yeah, I think the value for them is it's a different world. I mean, the retailers today are kind of blind to most of the things that happens inside their home, their store, and we are going to give them insight and analytics about everything that happens inside the stores. And also for the shoppers, of course, you can take whatever you want and just look out. So it's a new world of possibilities for the retailers, and the value for the shopper, I think, is very clear. There's no other solution that you can just walk in, walk out without just do anything.
And how did COVID-19 affect generally from what you see, affect the retail world, the way that you see it, and how did it affect your clients? How did it affect your business, your use cases?
Yeah, so I think before the COVID-19, the demand was very, very high. Right now, it became much higher. There are many reasons for that, but I will point to one thing. In all of the world now, there is a limitation of the amount of people that can go into the supermarket in a given time. And many people gather together in the checkout line, in the cash registers, and then people can't go inside the store because of all the people that gather in the checkout line. So without solution, people will just walk out and walk in without anything that will stop them. So it much accelerated the need, and we can and the amount of the retailers that wants to start a project and to implement this solution in their stores.
Very interesting. And Tal, if we take that a similar question, how did COVID-19 affect? How do you see that affecting the retailers that you work with, and especially that consumer experience?
I think COVID-19 in general, not just in retail, is kind of forcing people to change how they buy and how they use things, right? So getting stuff into your doorstep, for instance, and it's not just food that you get now into your doorstep, but everything. So quality monitoring, knowing what you get and when you get it, is super important. So let's say that, just as an example, I order this kind of medicine into my home, right? Because I don't want to go necessarily into and buy it uh, outside. I need to know what was the temperature. I need to know the entire trace and what's the quality of what I'm getting. So this has definitely increased the need to optimize and have better quality in the entire supply chain. Specifically in retail, making the retail experience more interactive and being more efficient, right, in conversion, and knowing what people are actually doing in store has become even more important, because people, as Michael said, are spending less time in retail.
Absolutely. What are the other use cases that companies can use Williot for?
Anything that product needs an identity with. So we have across the life cycle, I think, different clusters. If you want to optimize the food delivery, then you need that item to know about itself, what its own temperature and when it was picked and when it was supplied and the route it took. So that's kind of one cluster that we see. The second cluster is the entire route into retail and out of retail. So we see many solutions that are trying to mechanize retail, right? With visual aids and with AI, like Michael described. What we're trying to do is give that self-awareness to the product itself. And imagine that if your product and marketing merchandise around that product have self-awareness, meaning they know who they are uniquely, and they can communicate that awareness and things that happened around them. How many people gathered around me in the last day? How many people moved me? How many people moved me and walked to the mirror or walked to the fitting room? So that is an entire cluster of use cases that we're piloting these days with several giants. And also definitely on the consumer side, how do I use the product? Can the product help me better understand how to use it, how to onboard it, how to get service around it, how to get replenishment for that specific product? And the newer use case from the circular economy. If I have a product and I decide to stop using it, can I sustain the usability of that product in a secondary market, or how can I recycle that market? That entire life chain needs the product themselves to be self-aware and not necessarily the infrastructure around them. So that is what we're about. And we have customers and pilots in all these areas.
Okay, so it's a different multi-industry, and is there a specific industry that you think needs you more than the rest, or is it just across all industries?
We see clusters, and it's just about timing. I think supply chain, it's talked a lot about, right? Supply chain really people need to know where the stuff is, as simple as that. And today they don't necessarily know. They don't necessarily know their inventory level to even a remote to accurate level inside the store. These are the areas that are really hot right now. And obviously the holy grail is to be able to communicate with your favorite end user. If you're a fashion brand and you want to know how your favorite users are using your products, we can help them do that. So these are the areas that we see a lot of interest in.
Very interesting. And Michael, on a similar note, industries, I guess it's grocery. Are there any other retailers that you're focusing on? What's your kind of ideal customer?
So we started with the grocery retailers. The reason is the demand that we're getting from there. The demand to improve the customer experience there, I think, is the highest. Also, grocery retailers, I would say, their main business is physical. Even during the COVID-19, we see that in the Western world, the average of the revenues that come from the physical world is about 97%. So that market is still in the physical world and going to stay there for years. So we decided to start and focus in the grocery segment, but we can work with almost any retail segment, like the pharmacy, the convenience stores, and general stores. So the technology is really flexible. But we started with the grocery retail because of the demand.
And the experience is as smooth as I take my phone, I go inside the store, pick whatever I want, and just leave?
Yeah, actually, it's for the retailers to decide what is the customer experience that they want. We are flexible in that, but we see that today the main retailers want the experience with the app, that you can just scan kind of a QR at the entrance of the store and then walk in and walk out. Also, it's going to be in the same application of the e-commerce and the same user. So it's going to be a complete fusion between you are the same user in the physical store and in the e-commerce. The promotions that that you will get and the insight will be the same for the e-commerce and the physical store. So we can use data from the physical store to the e-commerce website, and also the opposite of that. If we know that you browse in the website and you try to find something, or you just bought something for yourself, we can also offer you something similar when you go into the store.
Which is also a game-changing thing, because almost everyone wants to connect the online and offline, not only experience, but also the data. And that's really the hardest thing. So that's kudos to you for connecting those two. And last thing I wanted to focus on is actually the people. So you are both game-changing companies. You are both sitting in Tel Aviv. There are hardly any other companies that are doing what you both are doing. I guess it relates to both of you and your co-founders and your teams. Michael, you have one of the best teams in the world when it comes to computer vision. Can you tell us a little bit about your company, your team, your people?
Yeah, I think that, I mean, a question many people ask me, how we could really bring that team to Trigo. I think that for many people, especially Israelis and researchers, very important to what we do is pretty unique for them. Usually startups are not really deep tech. Startups trying to find technologies to do some changes and to deliver as fast as they can. And usually if researchers want to do a research, they go to the university or the academia. We are combining the two. We are doing really deep research about computer vision and AI and algorithms. And also we need to deliver very fast. And that is something that for a specific kind of people is something that drives them and gives them motivation. And I'm happy that many of the best computer vision experts in Israel came to work with us.
Fantastic. And Tal, you are a successful entrepreneur, second timer. You already sold a company called Velocity. What makes your team exceptional? And then also, if you can add to that, what are your lessons from working with corporate clients in both your companies? What should they be doing better with Williot?
Yeah, so two questions. I'll start with the first one because actually it's very interesting. I think we bring nerds of two worlds, right? One, I have the team with me that started to develop the 5G wireless technology that is part of our lives. When was it? Like 12 years ago. And we are the team that started to deliver a gigabit level of performance into small chips that go into phones. And that team is with me here. But the other side of our brain is AI, because we're trying all the sensing that we do basically is a twin brother up in the cloud trying to guess what the sticker is about. Did anyone move it? Did it flock into a group and things like that? So we have an AI team and we have a deep tech design team working together to build that label. And this is super interesting, honestly. Now, on your second question, I think Velocity was very different in the sense that when you design a relative high performance, high cost type of a product into a mobile platform, you have the selected few of customers that you need to deal with. At Williot, as you rightfully asked, we have so many use cases that cater to so many different verticals. So I get to talk with customers from the supply chain and understand their problems, and retail, and then pharma. And it's very, very, very diverse. And honestly, we're still learning at Williot on how to kind of be flexible enough on one hand and focused enough to work with all these guys.
Amazing. Thank you both so much. Two game-changing companies, game-changing teams, game-changing CEOs. Thank you so much. I wish you good luck and enjoy the retail conference.
Thank you, Orly.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.